Fascinating news out of Spokane, Washington today. The leader of the NAACP in that fairly white city, her name is Rachel Dolezal. Here she is. You can see a look at her, a beautiful black woman. Well, it was revealed by her family, no less, that she's not black, she's white. Take a look at these pictures of her when she was a younger woman. So white, she's pink. But she says no, she is a black woman and has stylized herself and her life and her politics that way so much so that she is the leader and spokesman for blacks in that town. It's confusing, but in some ways it's fascinating and admirable that she loves black people so much that she wants to be one of them, and more than that, she wants to lead black people and help them, which is presumably the reason she joined the NAACP. Now, some people who are more black than she is, who are really black, I guess you would say, are upset by this, saying that she's appropriating their narrative, including their history of being abused. If you're asking for certain rights or privileges today based on the fact that you lived through slavery or your people lived through slavery in the past, can some white girl come and say, I want to be part of that parade of reparations or affirmative action? And that's the thing. Did Rachel Dolezal do this for some sort of quota system or affirmative action that she couldn't have had being a white girl? I don't know. But I do know that the subject of race is very difficult to quantify. How black is black enough? Everybody says that Barack Obama is the first black president, and it's surely true, but only his dad was black, his mom was white. To calculate how black you have to be is a gross business. We don't like calculating race and asking those nosy questions. That reminds us of earlier, darker eras, for example, in South African apartheid, where your exact race really mattered because rights and privileges flowed from that. Same in the U.S. South during slavery. If you had the wrong blood quantum, you could be a slave. If you had the right blood quantum, you could be free. And by blood quantum, I mean, are you 1/4 black, 1/8 black? That's where we got gross terms like octoroon and quadroon that said your value was based on your blood count. The Germans had it too in the Nazi era with the mixling system. If your grandparent, if one grandparent was Jewish, you would be a mixling. You wouldn't be allowed to join the all-Aryan SS, but that wouldn't be enough to get you killed. We live in a more enlightened time now, but a more confusing time. Just recently, Bruce Jenner, an Olympic champion, a great symbol of masculinity, announced to the world that he was now Caitlyn Jenner, and he was a she. And the world complied in large part, even though he hasn't actually gone through the surgery to complete his journey. But even if he hacked off his wedding tackle, he would still be genetically a man. I mean, his chromosomes, X, Y, XX, these things don't change just because you cut off certain parts of your body. And so my point is this: it is easier to say you are a different race and more accurate than to say you're a different sex. It's just less absurd to say you are a different race. I like the fact that there should be racial fluidity, because it gets us beyond rights and privileges based on race. We have that problem in Canada today under our Indian Act. The Indian Act takes certain rights away from Indians on reserve, such as property rights that the rest of us enjoy. But it also accords benefits to those people under the Indian Act, certain payments and certain exemptions from taxes. I like the idea where we could all choose to be whatever race we wanted, because it would end the spoils system, where being a certain race gets you ahead of the line in college admissions or in recruitment to the RCMP. Now, I don't mind what Rachel Dolezal did one bit. I think it shows imagination, creativity, and an affection for black people. I sort of like it. And I sort of like the conversation, which I think will lead to the question, do we really need to give people bonuses, privileges, or punishments based on the color of their skin? I know what Martin Luther King would say to that. He'd say, judge Rachel Dolezal by the content of her character instead. For TheRebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant.